remote work. It sounds amazing, right?
When I started, I thought I had found the perfect life.
Why did you really choose remote work?
I chose remote work because I was exhausted. Remote work felt like an escape. I thought if I work from home, I'll finally breathe. I'll have time. I'll be calm. I'll be happy.
First week working from home. Be honest with us. Was it freedom or shock?
Both.
And what actually happened?
Well, the first surprise, I didn't stop working. I worked more. There was no clear start and end anymore. I felt like I had to prove I was working all the time.
So the freedom came with pressure.
Yes, a different kind of pressure. At home, work lives with you. Remote work didn't fix my problems. It showed them to me more clearly. My habits, my boundaries, my fear of slowing down.
So technically you were busy, but not effective.
Perfect way to say it. I felt productive because I was always doing something. But when I looked at results, they weren't better than before. I realized freedom without structure feels like chaos. And no one warned me about that.
The infinite workday.
Burnout doesn't come from working hard one day. It comes from never truly stopping. One day, I felt this heavy tightness in my chest while answering emails late at night. It wasn't a medical emergency, but it was a wake-up call. My body was saying enough.
So you can be successful and still feel alone.
Yes, work gives structure, but people give meaning. We confuse communication with connection. Messages and calls are useful, but they're not the same as sharing space.
What decision changed everything?
I stopped trying to make remote work perfect, and instead I rebuilt it to fit me. Remote work gives you flexibility, but if you don't use it wisely, it turns into pressure. Freedom without boundaries isn't freedom at all.
If you had to tell the truth about remote work in one sentence, what would you say?
Rise Stories Podcast.
Inspiring journeys towards success.
Hey there, and welcome back to Rise Stories Podcast, the show where we build real skills through real-life stories. I'm Daniel, your host, and today's episode is a little surprising because we're talking about something many people dream of, but few truly understand: working from home.
Hi, Daniel. Hi, everyone. I'm really happy to be here.
We're happy to have you, Emma. And trust me, listeners, you'll want to stay until the end of this one. Emma is a remote work consultant, a former full-time office employee, and someone who has spent over 8 years working remotely with international teams. She's helped startups build remote teams, trained professionals to work from home effectively, and, most importantly, she's lived the ups and downs herself.
Oh yes, all of them. The good days, the lonely days, the I'm still in my pajamas at 4 p.m. days.
Exactly, open-mouth smile. And that's why I wanted you here. Because online, remote work looks perfect. Coffee at home, no boss watching, no traffic, freedom everywhere. But today's episode is called Remote Work is Not What You Think for a Reason.
Absolutely. When I started, I thought I had found the perfect life. But very quickly, I realized something important. Working from home doesn't automatically make your life easier. It just changes the problems.
That's a strong way to put it. So today, we're not here to sell a dream. We're here to talk about the real experience. What surprised you, what challenged you, and what nobody warned you about.
And I promise to be honest. Because if someone had told me the truth at the beginning, I would have made very different choices.
All right, that's the perfect place to start. But before we dive in, quick reminder, friends. Don't forget to subscribe to Rise Stories Podcast and turn on the bell so you never miss a new episode. All right, now we're ready. Let's dive in. Remote work. It sounds amazing, right? So Emma, let me ask you something very simple and very honest. Why did you really choose remote work?
Honestly, not for freedom, not for travel, and definitely not for Instagram photos. I chose remote work because I was exhausted.
Exhausted how?
I was working in an office, full-time, long hours. I was always tired, always rushing. Morning traffic, meetings that went nowhere, staying late just to look busy. I remember one day sitting at my desk thinking, is this really my life now?
That moment hits hard.
Yeah. Remote work felt like an escape. I thought, if I work from home, I'll finally breathe. I'll have time. I'll be calm. I'll be happy.
So what were you expecting back then?
I imagined slow mornings, working with a coffee by the window, finishing work early. More energy, More balance. I really believed work would fit into my life, not control it.
And what actually happened?
Well, the first surprise? I didn't stop working. I worked more.
More? That's not what people expect.
Exactly. There was no clear start and end anymore. My laptop was always there. My phone, too. Emails at night. Messages on weekends. I felt like I had to prove I was working all the time.
So the freedom came with pressure.
Yes, a different kind of pressure. In the office, work ends when you leave the building. At home, work lives with you. And no one talks about that at the beginning.
That's already very different from the dream version.
Totally. Remote work didn't fix my problems. It showed them to me more clearly. My habits, my boundaries, my fear of slowing down.
That's powerful. So remote work wasn't the easy answer. It was more like a mirror.
Exactly. And once I understood that, everything started to change. But not overnight.
All right, that sets the stage perfectly. Before we go any further, I want to go back in time a little. Paint the before picture for us. Who were you in your office life?
All right, so imagine this. I was a project coordinator in a marketing company. Nothing fancy, but very demanding.
What did a normal day look like?
30 every morning. I didn't jump out of bed. I dragged myself out. Quick shower, quick breakfast, then straight into traffic.
The classic morning rush.
Exactly. 1 hour on the road, sometimes more. I arrived already tired, and my real work hadn't even started yet.
That's rough.
In the office, my day was full of meetings. Some useful, many not. I answered emails while sitting in meetings and stayed late to finish real work.
So your energy was always low.
Very low. By the time I got home, I didn't want to talk to anyone. I ate something fast, watched a screen, and went to bed thinking about the next day.
That sounds like survival mode.
It was. And the strange part? I thought this was normal. Everyone around me was doing the same thing.
So when did remote work enter your mind?
It started very quietly. One day, a colleague worked from home because of a train strike. She finished her tasks early and looked relaxed.
Relaxed at work. That's dangerous inspiration.
Exactly. I started reading stories online. People working from home, from cafes, even from other countries.
And suddenly a door opened.
Yes, for the first time I thought, maybe work doesn't have to look like this. Not because I hated my job, but because I hated how my life felt around it.
That moment when possible becomes real.
Absolutely. Remote work wasn't a dream yet, but it stopped feeling impossible.
And once something feels possible, it's very hard to ignore.
Very hard.
All right, now that we know who you were before, let's talk about what happened when you finally stepped into the remote world. So you finally make the switch. First week working from home. Be honest with us. Was it freedom or shock?
Both. And honestly, the shock was stronger.
That's not what people expect at all.
I know. The first morning felt amazing. 30. No traffic. No rushing. I made coffee slowly and thought, wow, this is it.
That sounds like the dream.
It lasted about 30 minutes.
Only 30?
Then the silence hit me. No phones ringing, no people talking, no background noise. Just me and my thoughts.
That can be uncomfortable.
Very. In the office, noise hides a lot. At home, there's nowhere to hide.
So what happened next?
Distractions. Everywhere. The kitchen. The laundry. My phone. I kept thinking, I'll just do this quickly. Nothing was quick.
And the guilt?
Oh, the guilt was constant. If I stood up, I felt guilty. If I took a break, I felt guilty. I kept asking myself, am I really working enough?
Even though no one was watching.
Exactly. Or maybe because no one was watching. In the office, you feel productive just by being there. At home, you need proof, even for yourself.
That's such a strange mental shift.
It is. I worked longer hours that first week than I ever did in the office. Not because I had more work, but because I was afraid to stop.
So freedom came with anxiety.
Yes. I realized freedom without structure feels like chaos. And no one warned me about that.
That's such an important moment, because this is where many people either quit or learn something new about themselves.
Exactly. That first week showed me that working from home isn't just about location. It's about discipline, mindset, and being okay with silence.
All right, and that silence leads us perfectly to the next part, because once the noise is gone, something else starts to appear. All right, let's talk about productivity. Everyone online says the same thing: you work better from home. So tell me honestly, did your productivity actually go up?
At the beginning? No, not at all.
That's surprising, because we always hear the opposite.
I know. There are studies saying people can be more productive at home. 3% increase in performance when people worked remotely.
Right, that number gets shared everywhere.
Yes, but what people forget is why productivity went up in those studies. It wasn't magic. It was fewer interruptions, clear goals, and good systems.
And you didn't have those yet.
Exactly. At home, I had fewer office interruptions, but I created new ones myself.
Like checking your phone every 5 minutes?
Exactly like that. Or jumping between tasks. Or working without breaks until my brain was completely tired.
So technically you were busy, but not effective.
Perfect way to say it. I felt productive because I was always doing something. But when I looked at results, they weren't better than before.
So when did that change?
After a few months, I realized productivity at home doesn't come from time. It comes from structure. Once I set clear working hours, clear goals for the day, and real breaks, that's when my performance finally improved.
So the research wasn't wrong. It was incomplete.
Exactly. Working from home can make you more productive, but only if you learn how to work differently.
That's such an important distinction, because many people blame remote work, when really they were never taught how to manage it.
Yes, remote work doesn't automatically make you better. It shows you your habits, good and bad.
And sometimes it shows you something even deeper than productivity.
Very true.
All right, let's go there next. So here's the big question. If remote work can improve performance, why do so many people burn out at home?
Because the workday never ends.
That fast?
Yes. At home, there's no clear line. No office door to close. No commute to mark the end of the day.
So work just keeps going.
Exactly. You finish one task, then think, I'll just answer one more message. Then it's one more email. One more meeting request. Suddenly, it was 9 o'clock in the evening.
That just one more thing trap.
All the time. And it gets worse with global teams. Someone is always awake somewhere.
Late meetings?
Very late. I remember having meetings at 8 o'clock in the evening, sometimes 10. After dinner. After a long day. And I said yes because I was already home.
So being home made it harder to say no.
Exactly. People think working from home gives you balance. But without boundaries, it eats your personal life.
And your energy.
Yes. You stop resting properly. Even when you're on the couch, your mind is still at work.
That's dangerous.
Very. Burnout doesn't come from working hard one day. It comes from never truly stopping.
So the problem isn't remote work itself.
It's the infinite workday. Work spreading into mornings, evenings, weekends, slowly, quietly.
And by the time people notice,
They're already exhausted.
that explains so much. And it makes the next question unavoidable.
How do you stop it before it stops you?
Exactly. Let's talk about that. So if remote work can improve performance, why do so many people still burn out at home?
Because the workday never really ends.
The infinite workday.
Exactly. At home, there's no clear line. No commute to say, work is over now. Your desk is there. Your laptop is there. Your phone is always with you.
So work slowly spreads.
Yes. A message at 6 o'clock in the evening. A quick call at 8 o'clock in the evening. You answer one thing, and suddenly you're back in work mode.
Even when you promised yourself you'd stop.
Especially then, you think, it's just 5 minutes. But 5 minutes becomes 30. And your brain never truly rests.
That sounds exhausting.
It is. And the worst part is, it feels invisible. In the office, burnout is easier to see. At home, you just feel tired all the time. And you blame yourself.
Because it looks like freedom from the outside.
Exactly. People think, you work from home, how can you be tired? So you push harder. You say yes to late meetings, different time zones, extra tasks.
And boundaries disappear.
Completely. I had days where I worked from morning until night, with no real break. Not because anyone forced me, but because I didn't protect my time.
That's such an important point.
Remote work gives you flexibility, but if you don't use it wisely, it turns into pressure.
So burnout at home isn't about working less or more. It's about working without limits.
Exactly. And once I understood that, I knew something had to change. Because freedom without boundaries isn't freedom at all.
All right, and that change didn't just affect your schedule. It also changed how you felt as a person.
Yes, in ways I didn't expect.
Let's talk about something people rarely mention. Loneliness. Did it hit you?
Yes. And it hit me suddenly.
How so?
There was one afternoon I remember very clearly. I had finished all my tasks early. Normally, that would feel great.
But it didn't.
No. I closed my laptop and realized the apartment was completely silent. No colleagues, no small talk, no see you tomorrow.
That's a strange feeling.
Very strange. I felt productive, focused, even proud of my work. But emotionally, something was missing.
Connection.
Exactly. And what's interesting is that research shows this too. Many fully remote workers say they are engaged and doing well at work. But at the same time, they report more loneliness and emotional stress.
So you can be successful and still feel alone.
Yes, work gives structure, but people give meaning. When you remove daily human contact, you start to feel it slowly.
How did that loneliness show up for you?
In small ways. Talking to myself more. Missing random conversations. Feeling disconnected, even though I was online all day.
That's something many people don't expect.
Because we confuse communication with connection. Messages and calls are useful, but they're not the same as sharing space.
So remote work didn't isolate you from work. It isolated you from people.
Yes. And once I accepted that feeling instead of ignoring it, I could finally deal with it.
That's a powerful moment, because loneliness doesn't mean remote work is bad. It means we need to work differently.
Exactly. And that's when I started building habits that changed everything.
All right, let's talk about those next. So after the burnout, after the loneliness, there had to be a moment where things shifted, the turning point. What decision changed everything?
I stopped trying to make remote work perfect. And instead, I rebuilt it to fit me.
That sounds simple, but I know it wasn't.
Not at all. The real decision was choosing a hybrid routine, 3 days at home, 2 days around people.
So you didn't quit remote work. You reshaped it.
Exactly. I joined a co-working space near my home. Not an office, not a cafe, just a place with humans.
That must have felt different immediately.
It did. I still had focus, but I also had energy. Small talks, smiles, a reason to get dressed.
Underrated benefit.
Very underrated. At the same time, I rebuilt my routine. Fixed start time. Fixed end time. And when work was done, it was done.
No more infinite workday.
Exactly. That one decision stopped the spiral. Not more discipline. Not more apps. Just a routine that respected my limits.
That's huge, because it shows there isn't one right way to work remotely.
Yes, the mistake I made was copying what worked for others. The change came when I listened to myself.
So the turning point wasn't external. It was internal.
Absolutely. Once I made that choice, everything else started to feel lighter.
All right, and that brings us to the big question everyone listening is asking themselves right now.
I can guess what it is.
Let's go there. All right, let's make this practical. After all that learning, you had to set some rules. Your remote rules. So tell us what boundaries became non-negotiable.
The first one was a clear start and stop ritual. Every morning, I start work the same way. Same time, same place, same first task.
And the end?
Even more important, at the end of the day, I close my laptop, write tomorrow's top task, and physically leave my desk. No, just one more thing.
That alone can change a lot.
It really does. My second rule was notifications. Work notifications off after working hours. No exceptions.
That's a brave one.
It felt scary at first, but nothing terrible happened. The world didn't end. My stress just went down.
Amazing how that works.
The third boundary was meetings. No meetings early morning. No meetings late evening. And no meetings without a clear purpose.
That protects your energy.
Exactly. And finally, I protected my personal life on purpose. I scheduled workouts, dinners, and time with friends the same way I scheduled work.
So life went back on the calendar.
Yes. And the funny thing, my performance improved. Because when rest is real, work becomes better.
That's such an important message. Boundaries don't reduce productivity. They protect it.
Exactly. Remote work finally started working for me, not against me.
All right, before we wrap this up, there's one last thing people need to hear.
And it might surprise them.
Let's be honest about something important. Remote work is everywhere now, but it doesn't work the same way for everyone. What did you learn the hard way?
I learned that remote work isn't just about where you work. It's about who you are and how your life is set up.
Tell me more.
First, the type of work matters a lot. Deep focus tasks? Remote can be amazing. But roles that need constant collaboration or fast decisions? Those can feel very heavy when you're alone.
So not every job fits the same model.
Exactly. Then there's the home environment. I was lucky. I had a quiet space. But I saw teammates working from bedrooms, shared apartments, even kitchens.
That changes everything.
It really does. When your workspace isn't respected, your focus and mental health suffer.
And the manager?
Huge factor. A manager who trusts you makes remote work powerful. A manager who checks every minute turns it into a nightmare.
So control versus trust.
Exactly. I saw people thrive under freedom, and others burn out under the same system.
That's such an important lesson.
Remote work isn't a reward or a shortcut. It's a tool. And like any tool, it works well only in the right hands and conditions.
So the big mistake is treating it like a one-size-fits-all solution.
Yes. The hard truth is, what saves one person can hurt another.
Now let's do a little health check here. When you first moved to remote work, did the longer hours sneak up on you? Anatomical heart?
Oh, absolutely. And the scary part is, I didn't even notice it at first.
How did it happen?
Very slowly. When you work from home, it's easy to stretch your day without realizing it. You think, I'll just finish this task, and suddenly it's 9 o'clock in the evening. Then a few days later, it's 10 o'clock in the evening. 5 hours a week, sometimes more.
That adds up fast.
It really does. And long hours don't just make you tired. They affect your health in real ways. 5+ hour weeks with higher risks of heart disease and even stroke.
That's serious.
It is. But the strange thing is, when you're working from home, you don't feel the danger. You're not in an office, under bright lights, out coworkers. You're in your own space, so the pressure feels invisible.
Almost like you're tricking yourself.
Exactly. I kept telling myself, I'm at home, I'm fine. But my body didn't agree. I was sleeping less, moving less, and carrying stress all day long.
Did you hit a moment where you realized things had gone too far?
Yes. One day, I felt this heavy tightness in my chest while answering emails late at night. It wasn't a medical emergency, but it was a wake-up call. My body was saying enough.
And that was the moment you changed course.
Exactly. Because remote work is flexible, but your health isn't.
All right, Emma, let's finish strong. People listening right now want something they can choose immediately. So give us a practical toolkit. 7 habits we can copy this week. What really works?
Let's do it. These are simple, but they completely changed the way I work.
Perfect. Habit number 1?
1. Time blocks. Instead of jumping between tasks, I divide my day into blocks: emails, deep work, admin, breaks. One block at a time. It removes chaos.
Love that. What's next?
2. Deep work windows. Every morning, I give myself one quiet hour with no messages, no calls, no notifications. That 1 hour produces 50% of my results.
I think everyone needs that hour. Habit 3?
3. The default no rule for meetings. If a meeting has no clear purpose or no agenda, my default answer is no. That alone gave me back so many hours.
That's powerful. What's number 4?
4. A daily walk. No excuses. Even 10 minutes. Movement clears my mind more than any productivity trick.
Simple but life-changing. Habit 5?
5. A focus trigger. Not sound. A simple action that tells my brain, it's time to work. For me, it's lighting a small scented candle or opening the same notebook before I start. Some people use a specific drink, like making the same cup of tea every morning. Repeating the same small ritual builds a strong mental cue.
I like that. A physical or sensory trigger for your brain. All right. 6th habit?
6. A weekly review. Every Friday, I look at what worked, what failed, and what needs adjusting. It keeps me in control instead of letting work control me.
And the last one?
7. Social anchors. Coffee with a friend, co-working days, dinner out, something human every week. Remote work shouldn't mean remote life.
Those are gold. 7 habits. All doable and all real.
And anyone listening can start them today. Remote work doesn't get better by accident. It gets better by design.
Beautifully said. All right. We're almost at the end of our episode. But before we wrap up, there's one final question I want to ask you. All right, Emma, we've come a long way today. So let's wrap this up with something powerful. If you had to tell the truth about remote work in one sentence, what would you say?
Remote work isn't a dream or a disaster. It's a mirror that shows you who you are and what you really need to work well and live well.
That's beautiful and very real. Before we close, any final message for everyone listening?
Yes, don't chase someone else's version of remote work. Build your own. Try things, adjust, fail, adjust again. Remote work becomes healthy and meaningful only when you shape it around your life, not the other way around.
I love that. All right, friends. That brings us to the end of today's episode of Rise Stories podcast. Now I want to hear from you. Remote, hybrid, or office? What works best for you and why? Tell us in the comments, send a voice message, or tag us on social media. And if today's conversation gave you something to think about, don't forget to subscribe, hit that bell icon, and share this episode with someone who needs it. Thanks for joining us. Thanks to Emma for her honesty, and as always, keep rising, keep learning, and keep building your story.
Thanks for having me, Daniel. See you all next time.
Take care, everyone.